Just a few years ago, most people had never heard of Nvidia. Today, it sits at the center of the artificial intelligence revolution. Its chips power ChatGPT. They power AI startups. They power the world's largest technology companies. And at one point, Nvidia became the most valuable company on Earth. More valuable than Apple. More valuable than Microsoft. More valuable than almost every company in modern history. Investors rushed to buy its stock. Technology companies scrambled to secure their chips. And governments began paying close attention to the technology it was producing. But Nvidia wasn't founded as an AI company. It wasn't trying to build the future of artificial intelligence. It started with a much simpler goal: building graphics cards for gamers. So how did a gaming hardware company become the company powering the AI revolution? And can Nvidia stay on top as competitors race to catch up? Welcome to Capital Archives. This is the story of the Nvidia empire. Long before Nvidia became one of the most valuable companies in the world, it was a small startup fighting for survival. The company was founded in 1993 by Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowski, and Curtis Preem. At the time, the personal computer industry was growing rapidly. But nobody was talking about artificial intelligence. The internet was still in its early days. Smartphones didn't exist. And the technology world looked very different from the one we know today. The founders of Nvidia believed that computer graphics would become increasingly important. Video games were becoming more advanced. 3D graphics were beginning to emerge. And they saw an opportunity to build specialized processors capable of handling those complex visual tasks. It was a bold bet. But success was far from guaranteed. In its early years, Nvidia faced intense competition. Larger companies had more resources, more customers, and more industry influence. At one point, the company came dangerously close to running out of money. According to Jensen Huang, Nvidia had enough cash to survive for only a short period if its next product failed. The pressure was enormous. One bad decision could have ended the company entirely. Then came a breakthrough. In 1999, Nvidia launched the GeForce 256. The company called it the world's first GPU, or graphics processing unit. The product helped establish Nvidia as a serious player in the gaming industry. Gamers wanted better graphics. Developers wanted more powerful hardware. And Nvidia was positioned to benefit from both trends. Over the following years, the company continued improving its technology. Its graphics cards became increasingly powerful. Its reputation grew. And Nvidia slowly built a loyal customer base among gamers and PC enthusiasts. From the outside, the company's future seemed clear. It was becoming one of the most successful gaming hardware companies in the world. But something unexpected was happening behind the scenes. The same chips designed to render video game graphics were proving useful for something else entirely. Something far bigger than gaming. And that discovery would eventually change Nvidia's future forever. Before we continue, I want to hear from you. When was the first time you heard about Nvidia? Was it through gaming, artificial intelligence, or investing? Let us know in the comments. Because the next part of this story explains how a company that built graphics cards for gamers accidentally positioned itself for the biggest technology boom in decades. For most of its history, Nvidia was focused on one thing: building better graphics processors. The company's GPUs were designed to handle the demanding visual calculations required by modern video games. Every explosion, every shadow, every character movement, every 3D environment, all required enormous amounts of processing power. And Nvidia became exceptionally good at delivering it. But while gamers were buying these chips for entertainment, researchers began noticing something interesting. The same architecture that made GPUs powerful for graphics also made them incredibly effective at performing certain types of mathematical calculations. Unlike traditional computer processors, which handled tasks one after another, GPUs could perform many calculations simultaneously. For years, this advantage was mostly associated with gaming. Then researchers started experimenting. Scientists, universities, engineers, and eventually artificial intelligence researchers. Many discovered that Nvidia's GPUs could dramatically accelerate workloads that had nothing to do with video games. Tasks that once took days could suddenly be completed much faster. As interest grew, Nvidia faced an important decision. The company could continue focusing entirely on gaming, or it could invest in a future that few people fully understood. A future built around high-performance computing. In 2006, Nvidia introduced CUDA, a software platform that allowed developers to use Nvidia's GPUs for purposes beyond graphics. At the time, it didn't make major headlines. Most people had never heard of CUDA. Many didn't understand why it mattered. But years later, that decision would prove to be one of the most important moves in the company's history. Because while the world was focused on smartphones, social media, and cloud computing, researchers were quietly building the foundations of the AI revolution. And more often than not, they were building it on Nvidia hardware. At first, the impact was difficult to see. Artificial intelligence remained a niche field. Most consumers had little interest in it. Most investors weren't paying attention. And Nvidia continued to be viewed primarily as a gaming company. But beneath the surface, something much bigger was beginning to take shape. The kind of shift that only becomes obvious in hindsight. And when it finally arrived, it would transform Nvidia from a successful technology company into one of the most important companies in the world. For years, Nvidia's investment in GPUs and CUDA remained largely invisible to the general public. Researchers appreciated the technology. Engineers understood its value. But most people still viewed Nvidia as a gaming company. Then artificial intelligence entered the mainstream. Advances in machine learning had been building for years. Researchers were developing increasingly powerful AI models. Computing requirements were growing. And those models needed enormous amounts of processing power. Once again, Nvidia's hardware was exactly what the industry needed. The company's GPUs became the preferred choice for training advanced AI systems. Technology companies began purchasing them in large quantities. Research labs expanded their computing infrastructure. And demand continued rising. But the real turning point arrived in late 2022. A company called OpenAI released ChatGPT. Almost overnight, artificial intelligence became one of the biggest stories in the world. Millions of people suddenly experienced AI for themselves. Students used it. Businesses experimented with it. Developers built products around it. And investors began pouring money into anything connected to artificial intelligence. The AI boom had officially begun. As excitement spread across the technology industry, companies raced to build their own AI systems. Google accelerated its efforts. Microsoft expanded its partnership with OpenAI. Meta increased investment in artificial intelligence. Startups emerged everywhere. And nearly all of them needed the same thing: computing power. Lots of it. That demand led directly back to Nvidia. Its chips became one of the most sought-after products in the world. Technology giants were spending billions of dollars building AI data centers. Some companies placed massive orders months in advance. Others struggled to secure enough supply. For the first time, Nvidia wasn't simply benefiting from a technology trend. It had become one of the foundations of the trend itself. The more artificial intelligence grew, the more demand there was for Nvidia's hardware. And as that demand exploded, so did Nvidia's business. Revenue surged. Profits soared. And investors began realizing that Nvidia was no longer just a gaming company. It was becoming the company powering the AI revolution. What happened next would transform Nvidia into one of the most valuable businesses in modern history. As artificial intelligence exploded, Nvidia found itself in an extraordinary position. For years, the company had invested in technology that many people barely understood. Now the entire industry wanted access to it. Demand for Nvidia's chips surged. Technology companies placed orders worth billions of dollars. New AI data centers were being built around the world. And Nvidia's hardware became one of the most valuable resources in the technology industry. The financial impact was staggering. Quarter after quarter, Nvidia reported growth that exceeded expectations. Revenue climbed rapidly. Profits soared. and investors rushed to buy shares of the company. Wall Street quickly realized that Nvidia wasn't simply participating in the AI boom. It was supplying the infrastructure behind it. Every major AI company needed computing power, and much of that computing power relied on Nvidia. As demand continued rising, Nvidia's market value skyrocketed. The company crossed $1 trillion, then $2 trillion, and eventually, at certain points, Nvidia became the most valuable company in the world. A company that started by building graphics cards for gamers had surpassed some of the largest and most influential businesses in history. The transformation was remarkable, and at the center of it all was Jensen Huang. For decades, Huang had led Nvidia through industry shifts, competitive threats, and technological changes. Many of the decisions that once seemed risky now appeared visionary. Investors began viewing him as one of the most influential leaders in technology. His presentations attracted global attention. His predictions moved markets. And his signature leather jacket became almost as recognizable as the company itself. But success created a new challenge. The larger Nvidia became, the bigger the target on its back. Competitors were paying attention. Technology giants were searching for alternatives. Governments were becoming increasingly involved in the semiconductor industry. And customers who depended on Nvidia's chips began asking an important question. What happens if one company becomes too dominant? While Nvidia appeared unstoppable, history has shown that no technology leader stays on top forever. And the next phase of the AI revolution may be the company's biggest test yet. Today, Nvidia sits at the center of the artificial intelligence industry. Its chips power many of the world's most advanced AI systems. Its technology is used by startups, research labs, and some of the largest companies on Earth. And for now, Nvidia remains the company everyone is trying to catch. But the future of the AI industry may not belong to a single company. Because as Nvidia's influence has grown, so has the competition. AMD continues developing increasingly powerful AI hardware. Major technology companies are investing billions into their own custom chips. Google has developed its own AI accelerators. Amazon is building custom processors for its cloud infrastructure. Microsoft is investing heavily in AI computing capabilities. And around the world, governments are pouring resources into semiconductor development. Many of these companies share the same goal: reduce their dependence on Nvidia. Because while Nvidia's technology is powerful, relying on a single supplier creates risks, especially when demand continues growing faster than supply. At the same time, another challenge is emerging: China. As artificial intelligence becomes increasingly important, China continues investing heavily in chips, AI infrastructure, and advanced computing. The country understands what is at stake. The future of artificial intelligence may ultimately belong to the nations and companies capable of building the most powerful computing systems. That means the race is far from over. History is filled with companies that appeared untouchable. Companies that dominated entire industries, only to discover that technology can change faster than anyone expects. IBM once seemed unstoppable. Yahoo dominated the early internet. And many other industry leaders eventually lost their advantage. Whether Nvidia can avoid that fate remains one of the biggest questions in technology today. What makes Nvidia different is that it isn't simply selling products. It is helping build the infrastructure of the AI era itself. Every new AI breakthrough increases the need for computing power. Every new model requires more hardware. And every new company entering the AI race adds to the demand. That creates a powerful position. But it also creates enormous expectations. Investors expect growth. Customers expect innovation. And competitors are working every day to close the gap. Which brings us back to the question at the center of this story. Is Nvidia building a lasting empire? Or is it simply the biggest winner of the current AI boom? Let us know in the comments. Do you think Nvidia will still dominate artificial intelligence by 2030? Or will another company take its place? Because, unlike many stories in business history, this one is still being written. Nvidia may be the most important company in artificial intelligence today. But the next chapter of the AI revolution has not yet been decided. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more deep dives into the companies, technologies, and business battles shaping our future, make sure to subscribe to Capital Archives. Thank you for watching.